the assaults on ICE agents are up 1,300%. 1,300% in a year. The vehicular assaults are up 3,000%, and you know how that went viral with Renee Good. And the death threats are up 8,000%. That's not normal.
No, it's not normal. And you read my mind, because that's where I was going next on this. As a matter of fact, I think we've got this queued up here. Dylan, can you give us just a couple of minutes here of Sheriff Zukowski from the ICE event that we did? I want to ask Hollywood about this after we watch a little bit of the sheriff's remarks at the ICE appreciation event that we had. Go ahead.
Well, hello, everybody. I'll tell you, this is refreshing because you are my kind of people. I'm just going to start out by saying that. So thank each and every one of you. And thank you, Bob, for getting this thing going, because I'll tell you what, like you said, there's nothing out there like this with ICE and supporting ICE right now. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called TDS, but it's real. It's real. And Bob and I discussed this. And also Tom Z and his wife, Dan, I'll tell you, two great people. And I got to point out Brandon Rossi, too, over here. Raise your hand. This kid right here is the reincarnation of Charlie Kirk. Great turning point representative. I love this kid. And I'll tell you what, anybody ever gets a chance to listen to this kid speak, he speaks way beyond his age. I mean, just great. So love him. Let me start a little bit just about myself. I'll be 35 years in law enforcement this November.
Okay, Dylan, let's go ahead and pause that there. I just I was hoping to hear part of what his message was rather than the intro, and that's okay. Let me bring Hollywood back up here and talk about what that event really was. And I don't know if we can fix that screen, Dylan, and get Hollywood back on the screen there. Can we make that happen? But Hollywood, what this event was it was set up long before everything really went haywire in Minnesota, because ICE agents have been. Is it just my screen, or there we go? Thank you. Before the horrific events in Minneapolis, ICE agents had been targeted simply for doing the job that they were hired to do. And so have, of course, President Trump and DHS and everybody else, and Tom Homan, for daring to follow congressional law. Congress passed laws that said you can't do this. We have to enforce those laws. So here's the law enforcement officers and people need to recognize that badge, whether it's local, state, whether it's a local cop, a county deputy, a state trooper, or a federal agent, that badge all means the same thing. These are law enforcement officers. And I want to tie back to what I talked to before about defying police and what we see on these videos. When they get away with it, and when they're not held accountable, and quite frankly, when they're not physically fearful of being, controlled by the authority in those situations, it leads to what happened in Minnesota. You're ginning up all this rage toward ICE and CBP because leftists wanted that invasion. They do not want this massive, what President Trump promised and has yet to become, by the way, the largest mass deportation ever. Then you add that to the videos that we're talking about, and it leads people to what? This idiot, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. She's sitting in there blocking the road, talking about Renee Good, and she's blocking the road, and she is openly obstructing the law enforcement activities of these federal officers. And one finally comes to hold her to account, open the door and say, let's go, get out. She floors it, sees an officer there that I'm convinced, had we not been in this culture and in this environment right now, she wouldn't have gassed it. Same thing with Preddy. Here's a person being detained by officers. He is so emboldened by what we see as the defiance of police, of all, officers of all types of law enforcement, goes in there and physically obstructs that while carrying a gun, by the way, which led to his death as well. That's a long question, Hollywood, but to say that what is happening to ICE right now and what is happening to CBP agents and so forth was almost guaranteed to happen because of the slow deterioration of respect for a badge of any level.